Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Welcome back. We're gonna start another weekly vlog, week 4 of GarbAugust, the final week. And this is, of course, the WTF week. I think we've saved the best for last, really, by putting this one as the last week. I cannot wait to see what craziness people get into this week. So just a kind of reminder of what I've got going on. I have added a book to my week because it was a recent thrift store purchase. So let's just kind of pick through what I think I'm going to try to get into for this week. So The Worm Tunnel by Michael Dahl. This, I think, is actually even like a middle grade or some YA type of story, but we're following a 13-year-old Finnegan Zwake. His uncle is a best-selling mystery writer. Their friend Jared, they're off to an archaeological dig in sunny Aguilar, land of giant cacti, jungles, and dinosaurs, dead ones, that is. While Finn and his uncle are digging up treasure left behind by Finn's archaeologist parents, now mysteriously missing, the crew's digging up very valuable dinosaur eggs. But digging too deeply can stir up trouble, not to mention a murder or two or three. For some reason, I just feel like this is kind of crazy. It's called Worm Tunnel. I don't know. Love the cover. It just sounds like a lot of fun and possibly a little WTF. We'll see. Might be my lightest WTF, right? This is one that I added to my original TBR because I found it at the thrift store. Books falling everywhere. And it's Michelle Remembers. This is by Michelle Smith and Lawrence Patzer, MD. This is, my books are falling. This is supposedly a nonfiction story about Michelle. Let me just show you again. Are you ready? I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read this book. So, basically, Michelle, when she was 5, she was basically like offered up to like the devil, as part of this like devil worshipping cult, and it's like a 3-month ritual. Innocent little Michelle was tortured and imprisoned to use most evilly as an instrument to raise Satan himself. And they did raise him, and only divine intervention saved Michelle from the supreme terror. 22 years later, a troubled woman begins visits to the gentle, compassionate psychiatrist, the doctor here, and finally the long-buried memory of a childhood agony comes screaming forth with terrifying clarity. I love the last line. The stuff of fiction, perhaps, but it all really happened to Michelle Smith, and at last, Michelle remembers. It sounds terrible. And I'm sorry, Michelle, if this actually happened to you, but I can't wait to read this. Yeah, wait. And I don't know why this one just seems bonkers to me. It's called Silver Glass. This is by J.F. Rifkin. It's about a sword. It's almost fantasy-ish type story, but it's about a sword for hire. But the sword is a swords lady, and I don't know. It's like got a blurb here from Pierce Anthony. I don't know. I just feel like it might be kind of cool and WTF-y, possibly. I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. All right, I've got The Unborn by David Shorn. Love this. Look at this guy. Hello, Dapper. So this is about a woman who signs up for this, basically like a sleep study, kind of research thing. She doesn't divulge that she's pregnant because she just like really needs the money, and something happens while to the baby, I'm thinking, and the story goes from there. Sounds crazy. Yeah. And finally, The Searing by John Coyne. Preparing to absolutely hate this one, but I'm also just like really curious. There's a character with autism in here, which I'm sure is going to be atrocious, and then there's also just like stuff about orgasms. I don't know. I'm excited to give it a go, and I think it's going to be very WTF. So I don't know. Which one should I start with? Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I really kind of want to start with this one. Just set the mood, really set the mood for the week with this pure craziness. But I also kind of want to get to like one of these too. I don't know. I'll see what I pick in the next clip, but here's WTF week, and I can't wait. I can't wait to be blown away. All right. Till next time. All right. I've been a pretty bad vlogger this week. It's just been one of those weeks. I got a haircut though, so that's something. But it's been a week full of like appointments, for my kiddo, and my mom has been here for for a couple of days. So I just hadn't got a lot of reading done. That's okay. Well, that's all right. But I did start Silverglass. What was that? J.F. Rifkin, and I did make a start on The Searing by John Coyne. Already kind of hate it. It's funny. But I'm hoping to kind of, so that the rest of the week, kind of buckle down a little bit, at least get one of these books finished. I definitely want to start in on Michelle Remembers, because I think that might be the most WTF-y. But just wanted to let you know I was alive, and yeah, so just got finished taking my kid to the dentist, so I'm off to work now. So let's get this work day done, and I'll check in later. Bye. All right, let's just do a little check-in. It's Thursday already. This week is just flying by. So let me see, what in the world have I been doing? So I have forgotten to mention that I finished an audiobook. Definitely works for GarbAugust, and I'd say and also works for Audible August, which was a readathon that was hosted by Gareth over at Book Songs and Other Magic, and to basically read books that sort of in some way kind of feature or talk about like music or musicians or sound in some way. Very cool thing. And what I did was I listened to the audiobook I Am Ozzy by Ozzy Osbourne, probably someone else. And it was just a quick memoir, and it was really fun actually. So it starts, right from his childhood, and he talks about growing up and things like that, and getting into music, getting into bands, of course, Black Sabbath forming, and working through the albums of Black Sabbath, him, his first marriage, his second marriage to Sharon, and all that. So it kind of goes up through maybe like early 2000s, because it does talk about, so I'm talking about the TV show that they had, the Osbournes or whatever it was. So it talks about that. I think that was more early 2000s, right? I can't even remember now. What is time? And yeah, so I don't know. I just really enjoyed the heck out of it. It was, like I said, the audiobook, the narrator was really great. It wasn't Ozzy, but he did a really good job. He had a really good, nice accent. And I don't know. I just enjoyed it. So I love a good celebrity memoir. To be honest, I really enjoy them. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah. Just this morning, not GarbAugust related, but I finished my reread for My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Oh, I love that book, and it really held up on a reread. So Mary, MJ over Reading This Life, is one of her group read for the month was My Best Friend's Exorcism. I didn't know if I'd have time, but I was able to squeeze it in, and so if you have Audible, you can listen to it like basically for free. Like you don't have to use a credit or any money. As of right now. So that was great. The audiobook was really good, and I loved that. The first time I read that book, I loved it, and I loved it all over again. I think it's so good. It's so much nostalgia, but also like some really awesome horror elements to it. And it's so funny that I finished it today, and then the trailer for the movie dropped today too, and it looks really good. It looks really good, actually. I think they really kind of captured from the trailer. It seems like they really capture the essence of the story. I can already tell something, they've changed some things, but yeah, I'm excited for it. So yay. What else? I think that's it. So, no, that's not it. Because I don't think I mentioned this. I started reading Thor. So this was the pick for Kelly Hotel Books' From Hell Book Club. And so it's a story about a family, and I hadn't gotten that far into it yet, but the uncle, I think, comes to visit or something like that, and he seems a little odd, and the only one that notices that something is off with him is the family dog, and the bulk of this story is told from the dog Thor's perspective. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very, very intriguing, so I don't know, yeah, I'm liking it so far. So, other than that, yeah, I'm reading the Searing. Y'all, this like it's crazy town. I don't know. I don't even know. Like, let's see, I'm up to page 60, and it's not very long. I think it's less than 200 pages. It's 180 pages, so it's not long. I've got a few markings here of like things that I hate already. So there's a young girl in here who has autism. And since this book was written in, when was it written? 1980, the language around this girl is atrocious, of course. So yeah, I hate it. I hate that part of it. I mean, just on page 1, there's like 3 lines or like sections where I'm like, eye roll. But I'm trying to put it aside because I just really want to like read this book, essentially. But ooh, yeah, I'm still wriggling just a little bit. There's already been 1 spontaneous orgasm, so I mean that's cool. But yeah, so we will see. It's a short one, so I'm gonna get through it for sure. So like I said, today's Thursday. I'm actually off work tomorrow because I've got my kid. I have to stay with my kid tomorrow. He starts school next week, so I'm hoping to get a good chunk of reading time in tomorrow. And I'm hoping, I don't know if tonight I'll finish it. I still got, still a decent chunk to finish in one night. I don't know. I'm behind on reading some of these stories, so I want to catch up and read some of these stories too. The Ed Wood short stories. Yeah, I want to get back into that. And then I still got, of course, through the weekend, I'd like to finish at least one more of my WTF books. We will see though. So right now, this is what I'm going to be working on to get it finished. I did start an audiobook just on my ride home. It's called Lick. I forgot the author's name. I'll put the picture up, but it's a romance story about a rock and roll guy. The woman falls in. It's a rock and roll romance. It's fun so far. That's it. So yeah, I'll check in when I got more to say. Okay, I finished it. I finished the Searing. Look at this cover. They are enraptured. It was a journey. This was a journey. And the parts that I knew that I would hate, I did. But otherwise it was kind of interesting. So let's talk a little bit about it. So the Searing, it was written in 1980. Is very much a product of its time. But we've got essentially, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? But this kind of area around the Potomac, kind of outside of DC, where it was a big piece of farmland, but has been kind of sold off to create basically a subdivision for a new housing development kind of thing. And because the farmer who's there, is just not able to make ends meet anymore, that kind of stuff. So he sold off the land, and there's this new kind of community that has sprout up. And so people have been moving into this community, and one of which is a doctor that kind of is our main character that we're following, Dr. Sarah Marks. And so the farm family that lives there, they still live, like next door or whatever, on their sort of what's left of their farm property. They have a little girl who is autistic, and her name is Cindy. and those parts, the language around Cindy, around autism, about her behavior, yada yada yada, very not good. It's not good. Like I said, very much a product of its time. Yeah, hated it. Hated it. So I marked every time that there was a sentence or a paragraph, anything about Cindy in relation to the autism or autism in general or the R word. I put a little flag. Mind you, this book's only about 180 something pages. It was a lot. It was a lot. But as these folks are moving into this community, some people are getting dead. They're getting killed. Yeah. It starts off with a little baby. I mean, like, yeah, it's serious, right? And they're like, what the hell's going on here? Because it seems really strange. And of course, some people think it's this autistic girl because why not? But the Sarah Marks, the doctor, she's like, no way, it can't be her. Just because she's autistic doesn't mean she's a murderer, kind of thing. And the story goes from there, and we figure out what's going on and all this kind of stuff. It goes a little bit into crazy town as far as what's going on. I don't want to say too much, really. If you want to read it, okay, I won't say much about what happened. But that part was, I don't know, it definitely was interesting. I wouldn't, wasn't anything I would have like guessed or anything, but yeah, so I just, very mixed feelings about this. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, even okay, so the girl's mom right here, literally on like the first part, is the woman's side, just to look at her child made her sad. So Cindy is very much, I would say, a stereotypical autistic person in here with, she doesn't speak. She like rocks in the corner and things like that. Okay, so there's the R word. That's Cindy. Bruce Delps got her. She's got that autism. Can't talk. Lives in her own world. No one knows what causes it. Okay, let's move on. Where's the next flag? R word. Okay, so we're gonna move on from that one. Oh, there was I'm sorry, I'm just looking here. R word. Okay, yeah. I don't want to read those sections. I've been reading about autism, and there are a couple of things that struck me as having to do with mind control. These children have unusual abilities, and one of them is the power of concentration. In fact, they concentrate to such a degree that they lose touch with the world around them. Their concentration is like a flashlight beam in a dark world, narrow and intense on one spot. They're like geniuses in that regard. They tell the story of Isaac Newton, of how once during a dinner party he went down to the wine cellar for another bottle and didn't come back. The other guests finally went looking for him, and they found Newton kneeling in the dust of the kegs, apparently seized by an inspiration and trying to solve an equation. The point is, these autistic children, like geniuses, can't turn it off. not a foreign language, more like a personal language. Autistic children don't learn to speak the way normal children do. By mimicking adults. They can't seem to learn our language, but they are capable of an inner language that is difficult for others to understand. So bad. It's so bad. La 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 la. I don't think Cindy killed those children, or that she caused the attacks. But she may know something about the deaths. Autistic children, we know, are capable of extrasensory perception. La 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 la. It's so bad. There was one in here that I had a major eye roll. I should have double marked it or something. Oh yeah, so her mom thinks that she's being punished because she had sex before she got married. So that's why Cindy has autism. So that's cool. R word again. Okay. I marked the R word every time. I think it was about six-ish times. Oh, so yeah, okay. The child is sick. Cindy Delp is an autistic savant suffering from neurological and biochemical imbalance, but it's possible she can be cured through megavitamin therapy and an anti-allergic diet. Don't come with me with that BS now. Most autistic children can't reason. They only know information. Well, let's see if she can think. It's bad. I mean, it's just really bad. But again, I was expecting it, so I don't really have anyone to blame but myself because I read the book, right? But I think, you go into these books, it's like I said, it was written in 1980, but you can still look at it, through a critical eye and understand that, okay, this is not good as far as, especially those parts about autism and all that kind of stuff, because it's of course just bullshit and outdated and just wrong, and as far as what we think about autism now, right? So there are the random orgasms. The women start having random orgasms because of what's going on in this community. So that's kind of interesting. Just a side note. I don't know. I'd say this book is interesting as far as what it's trying to do. You know what I mean? But yeah, so much of the autism stuff in here is just cringe. So would I recommend you read it? I'd say if you're just totally interested, then yes, give it a go. But know that the autism stuff in here is just gonna be really bad. But the other stuff's kind of interesting. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Read it if you want, kind of thing. I'm glad I read it. I mean, I'm not gonna hate the book, but it's an older book. All right, so it's Friday, like I said. I've got the rest of the week. I've got the rest of the night tonight, and I have Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to try to squeeze at least one more WTF book. I really want to read this. I really want to read Michelle Remembers so bad. And so I'm going to try to get through this weekend. I don't know if I'll have time. I've got a library sale tomorrow. And it's, getting ready to back to school. My kids start school on Monday. Life stuff. So we'll see what I can do. I'm reading this one next, so I'll check you in the next one. To all who have the heart to hear the cries of children and the courage to stand up for them. Comment of Reme de Roux, Bishop of the Diocese of Victoria, British Columbia, on September 28, 1977. The Church is well aware of the existence of mysterious and evil forces in the world. Each person who has had an experience of evil imagines Satan in a slightly different way, but nobody knows precisely what this force of evil looks like. I do not question that for Michelle, this experience was real. In time, we will know how much of it can be validated. It will require prolonged and careful study in such mysterious matters. Hasty conclusions could prove unwise. It may well be that for people today, to hear this message coming from a 5-year-old child is of particular significance. We'll see. All right, Saturday morning, and I'm off to a library book sale. Wish me luck. I'm burning up for a library sale. Oh my God, it was very packed this time around. The last one they had, maybe like March or April. Like there were people there, but not like it was today. Choices were made. Did I walk out with 3 bags full of books? Yes. Yes, I did. Do I have regrets? I do not. Alrighty, so let's do just a wrap up of week 4 of GarbAugust, the WTF week. So I'm gonna wrap this up to wrap up this vlog, and yeah, we'll go from that. So week 4, of course, was WTF week. Books that make you go WTF and all that kind of good stuff. And my week, this past week was a bit of a weird one. I didn't get a lot of reading time in. So, I had 5 books planned for it. I've only finished 1, so, but that's fine. It's all good. I just had one of those weeks, where I just didn't have a lot of, sometimes I just didn't want to read, sometimes you just have that going on. And then, like I said, it's just kind of one of those busy weeks, and you know how it is. So, I've talked already about The Searing by John Coyne, and this is the one that I finished. I didn't really love it, but there were parts about it that were just super interesting also, even though I hated it more than I enjoyed it. So, I would read more by him just to see what in the world he comes up with next. I know he has a few books out there, so yeah, I talked about this one in a previous clip, so I won't go too much further into it, but yeah, I did finish it, so knock it off the list. I'm currently reading Michelle Remembers, and I'm still gonna try to finish this one. I've got the rest of today. It's Sunday. I've got the rest of today, and then of course there's a few straggly days left in August, so I'm gonna try to tie up some loose ends, and then come back with a kind of like GarbAugust, wrap up of what all I read and how I felt about GarbAugust and all that good stuff too. So that'll be coming, and then hopefully I have finished this so I can talk about sort of my final feelings. But basically, this is perfect for a WTF week. This is a supposed true story of this woman named Michelle Smith, who, with the help of her psychiatrist, Dr. Lawrence Padzer, who is also a co-author of this story, of this book. This is a nonfiction. She is, what's the word? Going to therapy. She's an adult woman, and she's going to therapy, and all of a sudden she has like all these repressed childhood memories come back. And there was like this span of time when she was about 5 years old, when her mother and like this group of Satan worshipers offered her up through all sorts of rituals and to trying to conjure Satan and all this good stuff. And I think the Catholic Church gets involved at some point. I haven't gotten that far yet. It's crazy, and I'm pretty sure it's all made up, right? So it's all of that like repressed childhood memory like thing that was a thing at one point, and I've been burned by this crap before, so I don't know. Growing up, I used to watch that movie Sybil. You guys remember that? Sally Field. She played this woman named Sybil who supposedly had, I don't think, about 15 or 16, maybe even more, I can't remember now, personalities within her, and she was going through therapy and had all these repressed memories of being like absolutely horribly abused by her mother, and they made a movie about it, and the movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, and I believed it hook, line, and sinker. I was like, oh my god, that woman's terrible. And then it came out, that it was all crap. I don't know. It's and so this kind of has that same feel, like, you won't burn me again, I'm not gonna believe this kind of thing. It's also really not well written, so I'm like, ugh. it's portrayed as the therapy sessions with her doctor were like recorded, and so it's basically like the transcripts of her recording, so sometimes it feels kind of disjointed, and I don't know, it's just not so great. But I'm also really just interested to see just how crazy it gets, because I think they do actually conjure Satan, so I'm really looking forward to that. So here's Michelle down here in one of her sessions. This is the good doc here. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to finish this up and to wrap up the rest of my WTF reading. I think it's perfect for WTF, honestly, because this one definitely makes you go WTF, right? So yeah, finish that up. I didn't get to the worm tunnel, which I'm kind of bummed about, but this one sounds fun, and I'll get to it at some point. I didn't get to the Unborn by David Chauvin, a science experiment gone bad kind of story. I'll get to it at some point too, because it sounds pretty great. I did make a start on Silver Glass though by J.F. Rifkin. I didn't get very far at all, and I paused because I once I got reading, I didn't think it was WTF-y enough. I think it's going to be a hoot of a good time, but I'm going to save it for another time. Like I've only got to chapter 2, so didn't get very far. But I think it's going to be really fun. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it at another point for sure, but just not right now. So that's kind of my week. Yeah, I didn't get to more things than I wanted to get to, but that's okay. I am listening to or reading the ebook for Thor by, was that Wayne Smith? Was that the author's name? So I'm hoping again these last few days of August I want to finish up Michelle Remembers and hopefully finish up Thor. So those are the 2 books I'd like to finish in these next few days before September starts, and all my September plans will start. So so that's week 4. So week as far as my reading, but overall it's been a fun week. So, and been enjoying seeing what everyone else has picked for WTF week. So I think that'll wrap it up this week. Let me know what you got into for WTF week. Was your mind blown? How many times did you say WTF? Anything else? I think that's it. So again, I'll come back with like kind of an overall GarbAugust wrap up, I think, and kind of thoughts about the event. And I enjoyed the hell out of it, first of all. But yeah, I'll come back with a general overall wrap up. It'll probably come out this following weekend maybe. And so that's gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna stop umming and ahhing and wrap it up. So that's week 4 in the can, and so it was been fun. I think that's it. Yeah, I went to that big library sale, so I have a haul coming too. Okay, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, these vlogs are long, I know, but I appreciate your time, and until next time, bye.